Hey there, in this video, you're gonna learn how to use the shape tool. Now, I use this tool a lot when I'm creating infographics for clients. So it's a great tool to learn. It also gives you instant control over the color. I generally use it for backgrounds and creating really good vector shapes, which means they don't pixelate or anything when you scale them up and down. So let's jump into Photoshop and get started. Okay, now that we're in Photoshop, let's move to our shape tool. It's this one right here in our toolbox. Let's pick the rectangle tool. Now, if we hold our mouse button down and drag, we can create any sort of rectangular shape, horizontal, vertically. If we hold shift, it will create a perfect square. We'll let go. Now, the great thing about a shape tool is we have instant control over the color within the shape. So if I go to my swatches and I've already got colors here, I can just click and it will instantly change the color of my shape. Let's move just down here to the properties panel. First part is the transformation. This is the height and width. So the width is the top, the height is the bottom. If I click and drag, it'll change both. And that is because this little icon is highlighted. It means the width and height are linked together. If I unlink that, I can just change the width and I can just change the height. If I go Control ZZ, I relink them. Again, I can change both at the same time, keeping my shape. Next part is the appearance, which is the color here. If we click the fill, that is the inside of our shape. You can also come over to here and choose a color that you would like. The next part is the stroke, which is the outside of our shape. If I change here, which is the size, say 10, that can show us a big stroke. We can change the color by clicking on it. Again, we can click our swatches or change our color here. The next side here, this drop down menu, is to change the style of stroke. So if we click on here, we have long dotted lines. If we click on here, we have dotted lines. The next part is just here, this drop down box. This is the control of your stroke on the inside, middle, or outside of your shape. So if I click on this top one, it brings your stroke on the inside of our shape. If I click on the middle one, it will overlap our shape, and if I click on that last one, it will be on the outside of our shape. Moving on to the next part, we'll just go to this end one here, as this will be like one of the main ones that you'll use if you are changing this. This will change the cap of the stroke. It will change the corner of our stroke or shape. So if we click this down, we go to the first one, that will round the edge. The second one will do this like cut off. And the last part to this is right here. This changes the corners of our shape. If this little box here is highlighted, it means every corner is linked together. If I hover here and I drag it up, I change the corners of my shape. Let's take it back down to 0. If I unlink this, I can change individual corners. I can change that top corner and maybe the opposite corner as well. Take that back. We'll turn this one off. Now, if we hover over, we have a bunch of other tools here. So we have the ellipse, and the same thing happens. I can either create an oval and have free transformation, or I can hold shift and create a perfect circle. The properties are all the same, no matter what shape you use. If we go into the fill, we have an actual couple of different options. If we click here, this comes up with our solids. If we click here, we can create a gradient within our shape. We have a bunch of presets. We can come down and see all of these. We also can just change by double clicking, change whatever the color is that we want. And we can change the slider to decide how far we want the gradient to go. Under that, we have the style of gradient, a linear, which is a straight line. We have a radial, which goes from the center out. We have an angle which starts in one spot and it goes all the way around till it hits itself. A reflection where it starts one side, it comes to the gradient and then goes back to the same. And a diamond is like a star or like the radial, but with more of a star shape going outward. If we're in our linear, we can come over to this side of the box and this little wheel will change the direction that our linear gradient goes. There we go. Now let's just go back to our square shape for 1 second, just to show one more thing. If we click on our shape, it comes up with these lines. We can actually change the size without pressing Control T to whatever we would like. Nice, easy way to transform your shape. Well, there you go, guys. There's a shape tool, how to use it, change colors instantly, add a gradient, manipulate the corners of your shape, Also changing your stroke. This is part 1 of our next video where we're going to teach you how to add text along a path or shape. So get familiar with the shape tool and I'll see you in the next video.